About 2 years ago, I was driving home from a family reunion pretty late at night, and the drive was about 2 hours. I didn't stay the night because I had to be back for work the following day. Most of the drive was on roads with dense bushes and trees on either side, the real creepy ones you see a lot in movies. Anyway, I had been driving about 45 minutes, and I was starting to get really tired. You know how sometimes you just suddenly become really tired, out of nowhere? Well, yeah, that happened to me. I knew I wasn't going to last, but I didn't come across any place that I felt I could park and safely sleep. Anyway, after it became clear to me that I wasn't going to find a place to pull up, and my tiredness wasn't going away, I did something very questionable. I pulled over to the side of the road onto the grass, behind some bushes, to try and hide my car from anybody else who was going to come past. The roads weren't empty. I came across another car every few minutes or so. I made a mental note that the time was 11:22, and then fell asleep. Some time later I was awoken by a scratching sound. I looked at the clock, 11:50. The sound stopped after a few seconds, and because I was still extremely tired, I didn't bother looking around and simply went back to sleep. I was later awoken by the same sound, and it was now 12:40. This time it really freaked me out because the sound didn't stop. The thought ran across my mind that it was just an animal inspecting the car, but why would it return almost an hour after it had left the previous time? I looked in my rear-view mirror, and just managed to catch a glimpse of something running away into the forest. Now, at the time, I thought it was the damn hook killer. You know, the one that scratched that couple's car, and then slaughtered the guy when he got out to investigate. Fuck that, I thought to myself, so I got the hell out of there. There was a bend no more than 100 yards up the road, and as I came around it, there was a fucking car, parked off to the side of the road with the driver's side door opened. I slowed down just to look to see if anyone was in there. There wasn't. Then I looked in my rear view mirror. I didn't see anything, and all of a sudden, this guy comes sprinting around the corner. He starts screaming at me, shouting stuff like, hey you, get the fuck out of your car now. I noped the fuck out of there and sped off. I never saw the guy again. Moral of the story: don't fucking sleep on the side of a deserted road. When I was 18, my grandfather was having heart problems. I would wake up every morning and go to his house to see him. I would just talk to him, help him around the house and watch TV with him. He has been really lonely since my grandmother died 3 months ago. I will never forget this moment. It was June the 7th I arrive at his house, and my grandfather has the biggest smile on his face. I was so happy to see him smiling. He looks at me and says, guess what? I'm going to go see my wife in 2 days. At the moment, I thought my grandpa lost it. Believe it or not, my grandfather died 2 days later in his sleep. The thought of it is scary, creepy and disturbing. It is like he knew he is going to die in 2 days. On a side note, the last 2 days, he was alive, he was smiling and peaceful. I can't explain it. It felt like he knew something we don't know. This is a bit disturbing and creepy more than scary. During my first semester of college, my grandmother was diagnosed with terminal cancer. I moved in with her and my grandfather to help take care of her. She was given 2 months to live but made it to 9 before passing. Shortly after her death, I would be alone in the house and would see her walking through the hallways, or would sense her sitting on a bed behind me in the computer room. It never freaked me but did catch me off guard. Another time, in the same house, a girl I was dating stopped by and I went out into the garage to get something, and she was waiting for me in the laundry room that was next to the garage. I came in and we hugged for a moment when we both heard a dog running through the house. We could hear his feet, nails hitting the tile floor, and the sounds got closer and closer until we saw it round the corner and run directly between our legs and through the closed door and into the garage. We both just looked at each other in disbelief and then left. The dog was one that my grandparents owned many years before and that had passed away when I was 2. I only remember it from pictures. I was once at my girlfriend's townhouse, and they had a backyard with a shared fence, with a family, or group of families. It was dark night, but one of those nights when the light of the town reflects off of the clouds so it's eerily light out. The fence between the townhome and the family house was old and worn out so you could see through the gaps if you really focused. We heard a blood-curdling scream, "No," followed by an immediate soul-crushing inhale. There was probably 50 feet between the glass sliding door we were at and the fence. They had their floodlights on, and it illuminated the silhouettes of the parents crying. Peering through the fence 50 feet away, you could see a body swaying from the tree. Their son had hung himself, and discovered it in the dead of night, when their dog ran out to the backyard and activated the floodlights. We could only see through the small gaps in the fence, and the shadows of the family experiencing it in real time. I was kidnapped by an ex. Well, I say kidnapped. It all started with severe blackmail, death threats, having people watch my house, telling me when my family were home, etc. Then he kidnapped me and kept me locked in a hotel room for 3 days. I was beaten, raped, abused, tortured. He was threatening to sell me to a Bulgarian biker gang, where I was to be turned basically into their heroin junkie. He had arranged for me to be collected from the hotel the next morning. Luckily my family had reported me missing, and in the early hours, the police managed to find me. I saw my once chance of escape and took it. Thankfully now he is serving 23 years. I definitely learned a lot about myself in those 3 days.